Okay, the stream is now live. Thank you.
Do I need to start it again?
Yes, please.
This is Jeffrey Skoglin. I'm the Vice Chair of the Personnel Board. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:01. And the first order of business is a call to order, a roll call rather, and we'll do it alphabetically. Please respond with present. Barbara Burns.
Present.
Jeffrey Skoglin, present. Bruce Washburn.
Present.
Barbara and Bruce, I'd like to welcome you to the Personnel Board. I wish we were meeting in person.
Thank you.
I just want to review that we should have 3 attachments that were sent to us that are pertinent to this meeting. You should have an agenda. You should have minutes from the last board meeting from October. And you should have the rules and procedures for the City of Scottsdale Personnel Board. Have you received all those documents? Barbara?
I don't believe that I have.
What would you be missing?
Actually, all of them. But maybe I didn't do my links, but I have attachments, but it just has the personnel board meeting notice.
There were several attachments. Those 3 are pertinent to this meeting. There are a couple of others that are not.
Mm-hmm.
Did I send those on Thursday? Do you remember, Jeff?
I can tell.
You did send them. Sorry, this is Janice Bladeen and Autumn and Vice Chair Autumn. You sent those on Thursday at 1:06 p.m.
Yes,
and there
I do.
were 5 attachments to the email.
Barbara, I have bburns5500 at Yahoo.
That is me. Yes.
Okay, so you were on that email. Do you want me to send it to you again?
Would you please?
Sure.
Bruce, have you received those documents?
Yes, I have them.
Good, that's helpful. While we are getting those documents to Barbara, we can proceed to the next order of business, which is the election of the chair and a vice chair. I would like to not be considered for the chair position, but am certainly willing to continue on as vice chair if appropriate. This is my last year and I will roll off of the board at the end of December of this year, which is why I think it's best if we start with a fresh chair that's going to possibly do more than just 1 year. Before we get into nominations, it would be helpful if we just had a brief introduction from Barbara and from Bruce. Barbara, would you like to go first? Just maybe a minute and a half of your background?
Yes. Well, I worked for the City of Scottsdale. Should I say my name before?
Yes, please.
This is Barbara Burns. I worked for the City of Scottsdale for approximately 30 years. And I was in a number of different departments, and I was an assistant city manager for 13 of those 30 years. And having retired in 2004, I've been basically enjoying retirement. And I was excited about the opportunity to be appointed to the personnel board. And in my time with the city, I worked with a number of different departments, and I enjoyed working with employees and also management. And I have a master's in business administration and a bachelor's in psychology. And I just basically do a number of things right now to entertain myself during the pandemic and retirement.
Well, welcome. You bring a rich background.
Thank you.
Briefly, this is Jeff Skoglin. My background includes 30 plus years as a human resource executive, mostly in the retail industry. I served as the top human resource person at companies like Victoria's Secret, American Eagle Outfitters. I also had some operational experience running stores and operations for a local company, High Health, that's no longer in business, but had a nice run. And I've been retired for a half a dozen years. I have devoted my time to nonprofits, mostly serving in leadership roles on boards. I've been a part of the personnel board for 5 years, and I believe in that period of time we've had 5 matters to consider in terms of hearings, and it's been a real joy. Mr. Washburn.
All right, thank you. Bruce Washburn. I've practiced law for 45 years, most of that time in private practice, focused largely on litigation, and much of it real estate litigation. Then I came to work for the city of Scottsdale. I worked for the city of Scottsdale for 16 years. And for about the first 6 of those years, I did mostly litigation, including real estate litigation. And then I became the city attorney, and I was the city attorney for almost 10 years, a position which I enjoyed very much. And then I retired in June of 2019, and I keep myself busy kind of project to project. I always find something interesting to do. I'm never bored, which I think is a good thing. And I wanted to be on this board because I felt like I had a lot of knowledge, both with how legal procedures work and hearings and all the laws that would be applicable. Plus, I understand a lot about how the city works, having been an employee there for that period of time right before I retired. And I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to make a positive contribution. Thank you.
Nice background. Let me ask, Barbara, are you interested in serving as chair?
No, I would nominate Bruce.
Bruce, are you willing to serve as chair?
Yeah, I'd be happy to be the chair.
Barbara, why don't you proceed with your nomination?
I nominate, this is Barbara Burns, and I nominate Bruce Washburn as the chair for the Personnel Board.
I second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It sounds like it's unanimous. Congratulations. From my
Thank you.
experience, the chair that I worked with had a legal background, and it was incredibly helpful. So it's nice that you bring that to the party. Barbara, are you interested in serving as vice chair?
Jeffrey, I thought you were interested in continuing in that role.
I'm happy to continue. We still have to do a nomination and a vote. So I'm just asking if you are interested in being nominated.
No, I would prefer not at this time.
All right. Will someone
I
propose a
would
nomination?
nominate Jeffrey Skoglund as the vice chair.
This is Bruce, and I second the nomination.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. So the election is complete with Bruce Washburn as chair and Jeffrey Skoglund as vice chair. The second order of business is the approval of minutes from the previous meeting, which was conducted on October 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 27th. Have you had a chance to review those minutes? Barbara?
I'm just seeing if I've received them on my phone. And I have not yet. But I'm thinking they are downloading. But they are not downloaded yet.
Neither the one on the 6th nor the one tonight has bounced back to me.
Huh. I don't have anything from the 6th. That is so strange.
Well, it would certainly be helpful if you had a chance to review those
Mhm.
before I ask for approval. So
Huh.
while waiting for those to possibly be received and viewed, let me
Yes.
move on to the next order of business, which is a review of the board rules and bylaws. And let me just read the beginning of these under paragraph 1.0, general. Paragraph 1.1, the authority. The authority of the Personnel Board, including the right to establish rules and procedures for personnel hearings, rules, is derived from the Scottsdale City Charter and the provisions of Chapter 14 of the Scottsdale Revised Code relating to human resources management. These rules supplement the provisions of the city charter and the code. They are intended to govern the manner in which hearings on appeals to the Personnel Board are conducted. Paragraph 1.2, Arizona Open Meeting Law. All of the proceedings of the board shall be subject to the provisions of the Arizona Open Meeting Laws. The Personnel Board may meet in executive session as provided by the Open Meeting Laws. 2 of the 3 members of the Personnel Board shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of any business. Meetings of the board, including hearings, shall be conducted by the chairperson, or in the absence of the chairperson, the chairperson's designee. Definitions: chairperson, as used in these rules and procedures, includes both the chairperson and designee. HR director, as used in these rules and procedures, includes the executive director of human resources and his or her designee. This is a 6-page document. I am not going to read through all 6 pages, but it's critical that they be reviewed and understood. Bruce, it sounds like you've had a chance to review these. Are there any concerns or questions that you would have?
Well, yeah, I do have just a couple of questions. I don't know that anything needs to be changed, but I just thought since I'd gone through them, I thought I would raise them. I would like to start with paragraph 1.3, where it says that let's see, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, 1.2, paragraph 1.2. Where it says that the meetings are conducted by the chairperson, or in the absence of the chairperson's designee. And I wondered why they wouldn't be conducted by the vice chair in the absence of the chairperson. And the reason I raised that is the chairperson might be absent and not able to make a designee at the time that a meeting needs to be conducted. So I'm not saying that change has to be made, but I thought I would raise that possibility. And if I could go on to my next point, I was looking at paragraph 2.2, and over on the second page, it says that each party is supposed to provide 6 copies of each exhibit to the board, but the party would have filed both an exhibit list and a list of witnesses. And I was wondering if there was some reason why the board didn't get the list of witnesses as well as the exhibit list. And there may be some good reason not to. But I thought that if there wasn't some reason why the board couldn't have that, it would make more sense for the board to have everything that got filed. Then in paragraph 2.3, under the subpoena power, it wasn't clear to me if the chair had any role in the issuance of subpoenas. And it may well be that the chair doesn't need to have any role in that, because it seems like the issuance of subpoenas is pretty much of an administrative function. But I did have that question. And then, just one second. Over in paragraph 2.6, in the second paragraph in section A, it says that at any time during a hearing, prior to the board making its final conclusions or recommendations, the appellant may request to withdraw the appeal. Can the request be denied, or does the appellant just have the right to withdraw the appeal? Because it struck me that it shouldn't be termed a request if the if the appellant actually has an absolute right to withdraw the appeal, which I would think they would at any time up until the time the final decision is made. And let's see if there's anything else that jumped out at me. Oh yeah, in paragraph 2.7, and this may be nothing that needs to be worried about because it may be working fine. If it works fine, it doesn't need to be fixed. But in paragraph 2.7, it says that the moving parties can file pre-hearing motions up until 10 working days before the date of the hearing. And then the responding party, not the respondent, but whoever's the non-moving party, has 5 days in which to respond, 5 working days in which to respond. But it doesn't say that the motion has to be served on the party that's going to be responding to the motion at the same time that it's served on the board. So I would think that it might make sense to say where it says the moving party shall also deliver a copy of any such motion and exhibits to the opposing party, that there should be made clear that they have to deliver it at the same time. In other words, they can't put it in the mail and have it show up 3 days later because these time frames are very tight. And yeah, those are the things that jumped out at me. And I'm not sure that, especially since it seems like Barbara may not have had a chance to go over these. I'm not sure we need to try and address any of these now, but I thought I'd raise these for the liaison and the our council to see if they, kind of think about this and see if they think any of these things need to be addressed further. Maybe we can discuss that at a follow-up meeting.
This is Jeff Scogan again. I could respond to a few of these items. To my understanding, in absence of the chairperson, the vice chair is the designee. Now, whether it needs to state that or not, that's been the practical application of this. In my experiences with hearings to date, we have been provided a list of witnesses along with the exhibits in plenty of time. As far as the withdrawal by the employee of the appeal, I think the only thing that would cause that to be not recognized is if it procedurally has not occurred as it should have, in terms of the right people being notified in the right way. Ms. Bladeen, is there anything you would like to add?
I think that you captured well, Vice Chair, the practice as it has been. With that said, these rules were adopted quite some time ago, and so it might make sense to consider revising some things to clarify them or to put into writing what the practice has been. And just see if there are some other things that need to be cleaned up at the same time. So if you all would like, that's certainly something we could put on a future agenda. And I could work with the staff liaison to sort of capture some of the things that you all have talked about, and make sure we address those.
Yeah, this is Bruce, and the practice as has been described, it seems to me, is just fine, but I don't think it's explicitly stated in the rules. So, and again, if everything's been working fine, I don't want to make extra work for people. But these are just some things that jumped out at me when I was looking through these prior to the meeting.
This is a city document, and I would think that any revisions of this document would be initiated by the Executive Director of Human Resources on behalf of the city.
This is Janice Bladeen again, Vice Chair. members of the board. I believe with other boards that I've been involved with, that the staff person and the assigned lawyer have together sort of worked out some proposed changes for the board to consider, or the commission to consider, and then bring them to the board to look at and discuss and then vote on for their collective decision.
Yeah, this is Bruce, and that's my memory from reading the founding document for the board, is that the board adopts its own rules of procedure.
Well, for a future agenda, we will have a detailed review of suggested changes to this document. So that will come up at our next opportunity.
Very good. Thank you. That was Bruce, by the way. He said very good. Thank you.
Barbara, have you had a chance to review the minutes?
Do you know, this is Barbara Burns. The minutes actually went to my junk file, and so I haven't. And they're trying to download from the server, but I don't know if I can get into my email on my computer while I'm on the Zoom, and I don't want to cut you all off. So
I think we can have, with 2 of the 3 approving approval of the minutes. This is Jeff, and that's a question, Ms. Blading.
This is Janice Bladine. Yes, at 2, if you have 2 out of the 3 voting to approve the minutes, that would be sufficient.
With that, I motion to approve the minutes from the meeting that was conducted on October 20th, 21st, 22nd, and 27th. Are there any areas of concern or question, Mr. Washburn?
This is Bruce. I second the motion, and I don't feel any need for just further discussion.
All in favor? This is Jeff Scoglin. Aye.
Aye.
Minutes are approved. I think that concludes the agenda items for this meeting. I'm delighted to have you 2 on the personnel board. I really look forward to the next opportunity where hopefully we can meet in person. And if not, we'll set up a video meeting so we can see each other. And with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Yep, this is Bruce. I'd like to express my appreciation to the staff for the work they've done to help us with this meeting, and I move we adjourn.
and this is Barbara Burns, and I would second that, as well as the thank yous to the staff.
All in favor, say aye.
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 It is 6:23 and this personnel board meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thanks all.
Thank you.